country's Gunai country, which is in Gippsland, Eastern Victoria. I'm also a Gunditj Mara man through my grandmother, and I'm Yorta Yorta through my mother and my grandparents. My grandmother moved to Melbourne. She was one of the first Aboriginal people to move to Fitzroy. I remember a lot of times in my nan's lounge room listening to my uncles and aunties, my dad talking about politics and about how we can improve things and what we needed to do to disrupt the system at times. Our family were influential in sort of starting up some of our pushes in health and in education, and so for me it was sort of a natural progression to sort of go into that area. And so I was involved in education and also in health. So one of my first jobs was working at the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service. For me, as someone that's sort of, I suppose, starting to take a step up, the treaty was the most important thing, and so the fellowship allowed me to actually develop some materials for the treaty process and to give to our community around our identity. I think in our Aboriginal community we have a lot of strong leaders that are very vocal and that are out front, and you know, they've had a lot of experience and years of developing that leadership style. But for me personally, I feel like I'm a close to the ground type of leader. I'm very connected to my community. For me, it's all in my actions. It's in the things that I've done and how I've contributed to our community in that way. As an Aboriginal person, we can find it hard to sort of penetrate the mainstream and become, you know, the broader society, and I feel like a lot of my work life I've been trying to do that. My family is my biggest inspiration. I think having a strong family, I'm so proud of everyone in our family, the things they've done. You know, the political activists of the 70s were really influential on me. You know, my parents, my mum and dad, have been influential on how I see the world. But I've also had sort of some key non-Aboriginal people that have been sort of supported my journey through the universities. My hopes are for my children, so everything I do is geared towards my kids and their cousins, you know, our next generation. I put my hand up for the First Peoples Assembly because I feel like it's time for change, and you know, I feel like I've got a lot of experience and knowledge now at my age to be able to contribute to a framework that will incorporate our cultural protocols and will actually really respect our connection to country and our law. I think there's definitely going to be tension and challenges. But for me, I feel like that's part of the journey. If we don't have robust discussion and have that struggle about what we actually want, then it's going to be an empty process. I see this as a journey. I feel like we have a lot of fear in our community around government mistrust, which has probably hampered some of our efforts to develop different strategies, and you know, the treaty is no different. A lot of our mob have been burnt in the past from, you know, these big grand ideas, and so I think there's a bit of hesitation there to dive straight in. Having a voting system could be a way to open up, you know, a different voice. It's an opportunity, I feel, for true self-determination. I just see it as a tool that we can use for every clan to be able to make decisions about their country and about their people. I have got to focus on maintaining my cultural connection to country and my identity, and that part of that is bringing our language back, and I put that into my kids. And I think it's a struggle every day to rebuild and to do that and to try and decolonise. That a legacy of cultural integrity is one of the things I'd love for people to have seen how I've contributed.